but my word, do I feel rough.
What a mess. The first job of the morning, and it's not going well. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name's Kirby, and if you're new here, I'm a mobile mechanic slash used car dealer, and I just basically vlog my whole working week. Pretty much every job. I'll show you the ups and the downs. Hopefully this is something people enjoy. And we start with our first job of the week, which is a Tuesday, is this Polo. And we've got a few problems to deal with on this, but the first one that I think I'm going to deal with is the bonnet not opening. So I was here a little while ago. And you can hear the cable moving to some degree. So I'm going to try and get that open. It's also got a leaking sump, a leaking exhaust, and if you have a look at the handbrake, it is super high. So we're going to take the rear drums off and have a look at those. Right, everything's been pretty unsuccessful so far. The cable is, yeah, it was just holding on by a strand, I think. So that's come off. I've taken the wheel arch and the under tray out, and you can see up there the cable's there, and there's a join just up there. You can't you might not see it. That's where it joins. And then I've just got a little windbag under there trying to get into the latch, which I can see the latch. Now what I'm going to try and do is pump this up a little more, and there's two 10mm that hold the latch just up there. So if I can somehow squeeze in and get them, we might be able to just lift the bonnet up and do something there. Right, this is the setup right now. I've got the windbag in there, light wedged in there. I've got my made up long spanner, and if I zoom in, it's just on the, you're not going to be able to see it, I'll show you when I get it off, but I'm just on the nut undoing it. So hopefully that should take the catch away from the bonnet, and then I can get in there.
A few moments later.
And we are in. So there we go, that's all I've done is just take the screws out of there. I can access the lock now. So yeah, you can see this part of the cable has just popped out of there. Now I possibly think that this catch is too tight and it's too rusty, and it's just stretched the cable and that's popped out. So I'm going to try and pop that back in and see if we can get this to unlatch. Right, so I've actually got wrong lock and cable for this vehicle. No part supply could get hold of it, so I've gone online and got one, but it's the wrong one. I've cleaned up the latch as much as possible, and I've just done a temporary fix here because this casting, this little bit of casting here is actually broken where the ball joint sits in. I can get to it from underneath. I'm struggling to get it from inside the cab, so yeah, I need to do the sump, top that oil up. I'll check all the levels, top them up. By the time I get back to this, he shouldn't have to worry about any of the levels or anything like that. Right, I'm going to crack on with it now. Right, we are underneath the vehicle now. We've got to change this sump. You can see how rusty and scraped and dented. It's got a big old dent here. Yeah, and it's just become very, very porous. So yeah, we're going to replace the whole complete sump. Luckily, all of these bolts are quite accessible, so we're going to get them off and get a new one on, seal it all up, and then we'll do the work on the exhaust and the brakes, Give that time to seal it, settle a bit. All the bolts are out. So I'm just going to stick one in, so when it falls down, it doesn't go everywhere. Okay. It's loose everywhere. And that is why I bought my oil drain over, because once you take the sump off, air gets in, and yeah, you're left with a load of oil coming out. So wouldn't want that all over the ground, even though I've got these mats just to make sure everything's clean. Right, so now I just need to go around all these edges and give them a good old clean. There's not too much sealant left on this side, it's mostly on the sump. But yeah, this needs to be spotless before putting a new sump on. So I'm just going to go ahead, got a little scraper, and just lightly take that off. Right, so we've got the new sump here. It's a BGA sump, that's the sealant it comes with. So we've just nipped the top of that off, cut a little V in it, and yeah, we're just going to start laying down some sealant, I guess. Right, so after you've put the bead of sealant round, so I've just got it all around there. You're meant to leave it for 5 minutes just to get a skin on, and then put it on. And then apparently it cures within half an hour, this BGA stuff, before putting engine oil in and starting it up, which will be fine because I'll be doing the rear brakes, rear exhaust, so it'll have plenty of time. Right, it's back on the ground, and then I'm just going to sort out these handbrakes, but it looks like someone has previously adjusted that all the way to its end stop. I'm just going to back that off, so when I come to adjust the handbrake shoes, they'll be set correctly. Right, with this drum off, so the way to get these drums off is just in there, that little hole where the spring goes through. You just lever it up and it slackens off the shoes, so the shoes will sort of come in and not rub on the disc. But as you can see, these shoes have got loads of life left in them. They are a bit dirty, so maybe things could be a little bit seized up here. I'm just going to clean up everything, maybe give it a little bit of spritz of WD-40 and check the other side. One thing I've found, that wheel cylinder, I've just pushed it back in to see. This side, if I push it in, it does push itself back out. Don't know if you can see that in the light, but yeah, that might just be getting a little bit sticky. Right, I've given everything a bit of a clean up, and this handbrake lever arm was very, very stiff. Now I've cleaned it all up, lubricated it, and it's moving a lot better. But I do think this will benefit from a complete new kit, springs and everything, new shoes, new wheel cylinders, because that isn't moving the best. I've tried greasing everything up, a bit of WD-40. Yeah, I'm going to go to the other side, check that out. I don't think this will need cables. Right, this side seems to be in a bit better nick. Almost as if the shoes on this side look newer than the other side. Again, the wheel cylinders don't move too freely. The handbrake arm moves a lot more freely on this side. I'm just going to adjust this side up, and then we'll go inside and adjust the cable. Right, the handbrake shoes are all adjusted. Feels good at the minute. I don't expect that to last with the condition all of those moving components are in. And I've got to do the exhaust now, but my word, do I feel rough. I woke up this morning, I thought, oh, maybe I'm just a bit tired. And slowly through the day I can feel cold or something coming on. But now I feel rough as old boots, and I don't get sick, apart from the last 2 times I've been out drinking. So I went out for mobile mechanics work do
on the weekend just gone. Bit of go-karting, bit of drinking. Marvellous was there. He came 4th in the go-karting behind me in 3rd, so I'll take that. But yeah, just got to fit this exhaust now. Trying to muster the energy. This might be a very short Kerbside weekly, but the show must go on. I've got today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday left before Christmas. I know you guys are watching 2 weeks behind. All my regular subscribers will know that. So if you're new here, I film 2 weeks in advance. So hope you've all had a good Christmas and a new year. But yeah, let's crack on, get this exhaust done and go home.
It's Tuesday, and as you can see, I'm not exactly in work attire. Here he is. Oh, Peppy. Sit. Sit. Look at my obedient dog. Sit. Down. Sit. Sit. Down. Speak. Down. Sit. Down. Speak. Speak. Good girl. Finally got her out of it. Yeah, so as I was saying, go on, go play. Go. She's looking at the camera like, what the hell? So yeah, as I was saying, woke up this morning and boy was I rough. So I had 2 jobs on, a DPF clean and also a DPF replacement. I know both of these jobs could wait. So I thought, let me just recuperate and go again tomorrow. I'm feeling a bit better this afternoon. I've had a little bit of a nap because I didn't sleep very well. Mrs. Kerbside even had to get up out of the bed and go sleep on the sofa downstairs. But yeah, I'm on daddy doggy daycare today. And she needs a walk, so she's off having fun. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I guess this is the upside and the downside of being self-employed. I need a day off, I take a day off. I take a day off, I don't get paid. But I'm not trying to be a superhero. Not trying to be a hero. Christmas is coming up and I want to be fully not sick for it. So yeah, and nice just to get out of the house as well. It's Wednesday, or is it Thursday? It's Thursday, and I am back at work. And we've got this Renault Clio Sport in for an alternator, which I've already managed to squeeze in there. And I did look at this and think, oh, this looks very tight. But all you have to do, luckily the aircon was already degassed. Get this fuel pipe off here. Remove the bolts from the engine mount. Obviously support it with a jack on the sump with a block of wood. And then I did have to get the customer to come out and just push forward or back the engine whilst I pulled the alternator up out of there, and then it just slid back in, not a problem. So a Lucas unit, as you all know, Prince of Darkness. This is a customer supplied part and customer diagnosis this time, which I don't normally let happen, but this one kind of slipped the net, if you like. But from what he told me, it sounded like a good chance it would be the alternator. So here we are. So I'm just going to put it all back together, and then I'll test it after. He said the battery might be a bit flat, but I've got a nifty little new tool for that. So yeah, I'll show you once it's all done. So this is my new jump starter, Grepro Jump Starter 181. Comes in a nice carry bag. It's got a little flashy light if you're stuck in the dark. Didn't mean to press that. and then comes with the adapters. Right, that's it connected up to the battery, and then we've got the green lights to say go. Key in, and that has started it up no problem at all, first time. So let's check that charge rate on the alternator. There we go, perfect. That's job well done. Right, next up is just this little Audi for a service. I've already dropped the oil out, and two very annoying things about this job. Gravel driveway, I got it up on the ramps just about, because yeah, it's not ideal jacking it up and putting axle stands here. And then because it's a cabriolet, look at the size of this under tray, and that's metal. And then they decided to put 3 variations of bolts in there. I'm just like, why? Well, I know the under tray is for support, or because it's a cabriolet, I think they do it for rigidity reasons. I don't know how much that does, but that's what it's there for apparently. So yeah, oil's dropped out, new filter, put these bolts back and give it a quick once over and get to the last job of the day. Right, on our last job now, and it's this broken coil spring on this Citroen C4. You can just see it's snapped at the bottom there. It's also taken out the tyre, so they'll need a new one of those. We've got 2 bolts here, 2 nuts, 2 bolts, drop link. This hub slides forward, and then we've got to go up top, get the top mount out, and that should be it. Hopefully nice and easy, and then we can get home. Because yeah, I'm sorry if there's not been too much footage of me doing anything, but it's very hard to find the motivation to come to work whilst you're sick and then also film as well. But yeah, I'll try my best, get a few bits, yeah, and I'll show you if I find anything out of the ordinary, shall we say. Right, let's get cracking. That's it, 1 spring installed. Also put a new top mount and top mount bearing, because, well, I always do, but it's a good job I do, because this one came apart and you can just see all the rust that's building up on these bearings, so that wouldn't have lasted too much longer. So yeah, that's one side done, spare wheel on. Let's do the other side. Right, as you can see, it's now very dark, and this side has been a pain. This nut is seized on there, so I've just taken the wiper linkage off, and I'm going to get a socket on there and just see if it will gun off. Great success. And that is the second one done. Not too bad in the end, that one. I'm going to show you guys this light. This I got off of Facebook. Seika Tools just popped up, and I do like a light. Right, I'm home, and have a look at this. What a mess. Right, I'm just gonna lock myself away and tidy up all of this crap. Let me know, is there any other mobile mechanics that at the end of the day they're knackered, they just want to get home and they throw their stuff in the van, and then they deeply regret it the next day because you can't find anything. You've got to spend time the next day clearing up anyway. So I'm going to do it now. I'm going to get this van into some sort of order, because tomorrow is Friday and I've got a busy day tomorrow. I think I've got a busy day tomorrow. I've not been with it this week. Yeah, just what with the mobile mechanics works do on the Friday, and then having Monday off to do a bit of shopping. I just ain't been too organised. And then coming down with this cold, I would have had today and tomorrow off if it weren't for Christmas coming up. But yeah, obviously that mean then people wait until after Christmas, and I'm not working between Christmas and New Year, so yeah. Right, let's get tidying up. Right, first job of the morning, and it's not going well. So we've got an alternator to do, which sits just down here in this gap. Now, I don't think you can bring it up this gap. It's a tad too small. Problem being is, someone has over tightened these wheel nuts, and that has just snapped there. So that's a problem. Also, so this job came through from an AA patrol that gives me work, and kind of took me not by surprise, but he was with the customer at the time, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it, whatever. But I didn't know it's going to be a used alternator, another customer supplied part. These have got a really crap auxiliary belt tensioner, which you need a special tool for, which I haven't got. So this one I think is going to have to be another day. And I've underpriced it severely. I think I'm going to go give the customer the bad news. I'm going to have to get someone out to get that out. There's a guy around here that does wheel bolt and whatever removals. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to remove some stuff up here, have enough space to get it up. The only problem being is this style tensioner. So just up there, you've got to the right of that triangular piece, you've got a square, and then to the left of it you've got a square. Now there's a special tool that fits in there and detensions the belts. I haven't got that tool, but from what I can see, it's just a 1/2 inch square. So I've got this tool. I'm going to cut it because the gap between the chassis and the tensioner is quite thin. So I'm going to cut this just enough to get that spanner on, and hopefully that should fit. And that is one alternator out, and that is C solid. So we're going to chuck that used one in. Not too bad in the end, not too bad. Alright, let's see if it starts. You know, sometimes you think, why did I get involved in that? Oh, I only took the job on because it came through the guy, the AA patrol. And at least yesterday's guy, who supplied his own alternator, went to Euro Car Parts to get it. She goes, oh, I've got the alternator and the footwell. I was like, alright, cool. And she's brought out a carrier bag, and I was gone, is that used? Anyway, it probably would be fine if the thing started, but yeah, it seems like it's got a DPF or an EGR issue, which I don't have time for. So yeah, just one of those jobs. The wheelman came, guy who removes the locking wheel bolts or any broken bolts on the wheels, called Wheels Off in High Wycombe. Great guy. So yeah, that's taken me way longer than it should. I'm meant to be doing this Jensen 541R from last week because it had an exhaust leak after we finished, and then I've got to go up the unit, but I've just come home to get all my batteries and stuff that I was meant to put on charge last night but just forgot. So I've got to this job just now. I've got no power tools really. Oh dear, I hate being ill. Right, up the unit now, as you can see, and I've got this little Merc in, and apparently it's got a DPF issue. So, and it's having pads and discs all round. Oh, it's cold up here. Got the heater going. But it's quite a large space. so it doesn't really heat the whole place up, because obviously the heat just goes up into the metal cladded roof. Anyway, let's have a look at this Mercedes, see if it actually needs a DPF clean, because that's what I've came up here to do, but I've not looked at it yet myself. So, initial fault codes in here. The soot content of the diesel particulate filter is not okay, so we start it up. HPAs minus 50p minus. Right, so I didn't film any of the rest of that, but I whipped the under tray off with its billion 8mm screws. Just checked there was no leaks coming from the DPF or the pressure sensor pipes lower down. Next step was to get a Mitivac onto the two pipes and actually, you know, pump the Mitivac and see if the pressure changed at all. I initially thought the pipes might be on the wrong way round to read a minus reading of that much, but they were on the right way, so that weren't a problem. My mate had already ordered up a DPF pressure sensor before I got there, which hadn't arrived yet, so when it does arrive, he's just going to replace that basically. And I'm just heading back to that Jensen 547R, I think, the classic from previous couple of weeks, to sort that one out, just the exhaust leak, and then that'll be me for the Friday. And I'm going to include Monday in this week's video, because obviously I break up for the Christmas break now, or after Monday, so I've got to fit that Monday video in somewhere for you guys. So yeah, I'm not going to film this Jensen. I feel rough as hell still, so I do apologise for the lack of physical work this week, and it's just me waffling on, so I'm sorry. If you're new to this channel and you think, God blimey, this guy, don't half waffle on. It's not always like this. How about you subscribe and I can prove it to you, eh? Right, see you tomorrow, aka Monday. Good morning everyone. For me, it's been a whole weekend. I've had a nice early Christmas with my family. Loads of Christmas dinner, loads of treats. And now it's back to Monday, and we're just on this DPF clean, so we've got that going in now, just in 5-second intervals. You see it starting to do its thing. So yeah, not too exciting. So I'm just going to get this cleaned. Right, last job of the year. We was meant to come here to replace the DPF, but I've replaced the filter. Now, the reason for this is because I listened to the customer. So, he's just bought this Volvo V50 and it cut out on him a couple of times. He's put his cheap little code reader on, one of those, and apparently it came back with a load of codes relating to the DPF, and his mum has got to drive this car, and he said just replace the DPF. I offered to clean it. Yeah, he said, oh, I'd rather just put a new DPF on it. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And as always, before I do any work, I make sure what I'm doing is going to fix it. And when he told me the symptoms he was having, I thought, I don't think that's the DPF. Turned it on, checked the differential pressures, absolutely perfect, spot on. But we had 5 fault codes in the system for fuel pressure and also throttle position faults or something along them lines. Can't remember now. Go on live data and the throttle pedal you can see is moving. There's no live data for the throttle body, but I said to him, when was the filter last done? Is there any history of that? Which there isn't, or there's some, but dating back some miles now, probably 30 to 40,000 miles ago, which is probably the time you get your fuel filter done. So I've just whipped off to JR. Yeah, I've got a nice little Febby fuel pump, a fuel filter. So I've fitted that. I think these have to be primed with a little pump. So I'm going to fire this up, take it for a test drive and see if we've got a cure. And this has brightened up my week, to be honest, because I wasn't really in the mood to get changing a DPF. I just want to go home for Christmas now. Right, and getting that started again was an absolute pain. Typical last job of the year. Got it started in the end. And that is me done for 2024. I'm just about over my cold and flu, whatever I had last week. So Christmas is saved. But I am physically and emotionally absolutely knackered. And I'm glad, I'm not going to say I'm glad the year's over, because it's been a good year. Work has continued to be busy, which, you know, not everybody is busy. And I'm really appreciative of, you know, all of my customers and the fact that my phone just does not stop ringing for work. So, you know, it's a great problem to have, but it can just absolutely drain you. 2025, I want to make an even bigger year. You know, I want to hire at least one mechanic. I've got one guy in mind, so hopefully we can come to an agreement. And, you know, if that all goes well, I want a second mechanic out there, and I want to focus more on making videos, you know, more detailed videos. I know I talk a lot, as I'm talking a lot now, but I really enjoy making YouTube videos. So yeah, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it. Yeah, I have set myself a little target for next year, or within the next 6 months, to get to 20,000 subscribers. So if you've made it this far in a video and you're not subscribed, maybe you've watched 1 or 2 videos, go and hit that subscribe button down the bottom. And yeah, I will see you guys in the new year. You're watching this and it's already the new year because we're 2 weeks behind. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.